Welcome back to page 121. Today we're going to jump into challenge number 49 from Game Designers Workshop. This would have been about 1991 thereabouts. And here we have the fine magazine of science fiction gaming, and we've got the fine cover, but wait, there's a memo down here. Since 1973, GDW. 2. Challenge staff from Michelle Sturgeon, managing editor. Challenge 49, locations, special issue. This issue will be very meaty and will supply a lot of new source material to our readers. I hope you guys in art are able to pull together some innovative stuff on the maps. Oh, and Steve, don't do anything stupid with this cover, okay? This issue will feature the following articles. For Twilight 2000, Pennsylvania Crude. For Cyberpunk, Wrecking Zone. Plus our much-awaited swimsuit insert, Cowabunga, It's the Beach. I always liked when magazines or comic books would break the fourth wall like this. Marvel did a whole set of these in the mid-'80s called Assistant Editors Month, where the gag was that all the editors were at some conference, so the assistant editors took over and there was something goofy on all the covers. That's what this reminded me of. But here we go. Going inside. Very first thing we see is an ad for Shadowrun, Street Samurai Catalog, and DNA DOA. There you go, from Dave Arneson, co-creator of Dungeons and Dragons. And then we got an ad for Mega Traveler, which was the Traveler game at the time, from Digest Group Publications. These guys made some great stuff. It's a shame that it's currently being kept away from the public. This was some innovative stuff for its time. Whoever's holding it, FYI, the calendar is moving forward without you. You'd be wise to get this stuff out because soon people really won't care. But on this ad, we got World Builder's Handbook, Villani and Vargir, Starship Operator's Manual, the definitive version of this as far as I'm concerned, 101 vehicles, and then I'll mention the Mega Traveler Journal. I like Mega Traveler. And here we have the challenge table of contents. And this guy was from 91? Yes, challenge 1991. And we got a fair amount of Mega Traveler in here, which is really what I bought the magazine for, but a lot of other good stuff too, some Renegade Legion, some Star Wars. So, continuing on, we have an editorial from the management and some challenge letters to the editor, letters from our readers. And then we have an ad for Twin Engine Gaming. It presents Out Time Days, a game of time travel in an alternate dimension, and Space Combat, a game of pure tactical combat in a rather unique environment. Space Combat, that's interesting. Twin Engine Gaming out of San Jose, California. Pennsylvania Crude for Twilight 2000, an adventure for 4 to 10 characters. Played a little Twilight back in the day. A buddy of mine was really, really into it, so we played a couple of times with him GMing. Pretty good system. Became the default system when Traveler of the New Era came up. We have an ad for Mega Traveler. Add an exciting new dimension to your gaming with detailed starship deck plans. And then we have the new adventure coming out for Lords of Thunder from 1991. This is a great adventure. The consumer guide. And then we have the 400-ton subsidized merchant, the laboratory ship subsidized merchant, jump shuttle, Empress Morava, and Gazelle-class escort, and this is all from Seeker Gaming Systems, Mount Home, Idaho. I think I have all of these. These are really good. I have Lords of Thunder too, although I think that was under DGP, I'm not sure. Finishing out our adventure in Pennsylvania. Coming through the adventure, we have an ad for American Gamer, the newest gaming magazine. They're inviting us to join them. American Gamer from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Don't know that one. Wow, long article on Pennsylvania. And we finish it out. And we get an ad for Share the Adventure, High Colonies, the science fiction role-playing game. For $15, Waterford Publishing House promises you science fiction role-playing from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And now we go, how to obtain maps for gaming. This was interesting. This is also for Twilight 2000. And maps were not as easy to come by 35 years ago as they are now. Maps were something you got at the gas station for the most part, or you went to a bookstore and you bought an atlas. I was working a job at the time where I was in suburban Cook County a lot. It's just outside Chicago. And if anybody's not from Cook County, I'll tell you now, Cook County includes the city of Chicago. Cook County is massive. It's about 70 miles north to south. It is a massive area with a lot of people living in it. And to find your way around, it could be a bit of a challenge. I had an atlas of Cook County that I used in a job I was doing at the time where I went and did home inspections. That helped me go to a lot of gaming stores north and south of my house. Got a lot of good stuff doing that. So there's Twilight 2000, how to obtain maps. And then we have an ad for The Scroll, a quarterly publication dedicated to the world of role-playing gaming. $10 a year from Sage Lore Productions, Portland, Oregon. A lot of those were around the early 90s. Julian Protectorate. I like the Julian Protectorate. Important part of Traveler, and in this case Mega Traveler. We learn a lot about it as regards to the rebellion. If you're not familiar with the rebellion, that's of course when Strephon was assassinated by Dolinar and chaos prevailed and lots of people died needlessly. It was a time to change Mega Traveler, or change Traveler from the Golden Era to Mega Traveler, which is the Rebellion Era. Kind of a dystopian time in role-playing in the late 80s, early 90s. In role-playing and comic books, where a lot of what had gone before the writers felt needed to be torn down and created in a different image. I'm conflicted on that. It was a tough time to be a gamer, I have to say. We're continuing on the Julian Protectorate, how they are in the Rebellion. Good article on this. I remember reading this article back in the day. In fact, I'm going to keep this guy out and read it after I finish here. This is a really good article. I like it. Lots of info. And there we have the Menden sector, which has the Julian Protectorate in it. Lots of info on it. And then we have an ad for Game Designers Workshop, Bloomington, Illinois, for Traveler. And this is in Spanish. Traveler was published in several languages back in the day. And then we have the maps for the Julian Protectorate. The sector maps. That's one of the things that was nice about this magazine. Is you got a lot of good stuff, and it was all canon. You could go ahead and just plug it into your campaign as you wished. This issue in particular had a lot of good Traveler stuff in it. Not always true of Challenge. There were some months where Traveler would get a page or two, and that would be it. Mega Traveler, I should say properly, by this time. We have an ad for Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, the role-playing game. In 2020, Earth was devastated by a geological catastrophe and billions died. Well, close. 2020 was not a good year. Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, role-playing game based on Xenozoic Tales, the acclaimed comic series. And this, of course, from Game Designers Workshop, Bloomington, Illinois. And an ad for Dark Conspiracy, coming in June from GDW Games. I actually have Dark Conspiracy. I goof a little bit. I hesitate to say I played it. I kind of played it, but I didn't run a campaign or anything with it. I played with just a couple of my guys. But it's an interesting one. It's being reissued by Mongoose sometime in the next year or so. So I'm anxious to see how that goes. So the Dark Ones have broken through, and it's basically Call of Cthulhu, any kind of Lovecraft kind of thing. But it was interesting. The Dam. Versatile short adventure. Fit into almost any campaign. And this is for Mega Traveler? Yes. You can fit it pretty much anywhere, though. Traveler News Service. Gotta love the TNS. This is how we kept up with what was going on in the Rebellion. We started on day 73 of 1121, and we end at day 118 of 1121. And this tells us what's going on in the Rebellion. Ned makes some friends in Ned Neutron. Nice little comic strip. And then we have Mobius 1. Science fiction gaming at its best. Wanted. Interstellar overlords, despots, and emperors. From Flying Buffalo, Inc. out of Scottsdale, Arizona. I was aware of this game. I didn't play it. When it's lances, not lasers. Combat in pre-gunpowder settings for Mega Traveler. One thing I love about Traveller, and always have loved, is the variety of settings that you end up with. You can have your player characters land in their free trader, and they come down on a planet, and they're all tech level 12 and got the current weapons and armor, and they are on a tech level 3 world. So now I've had some players kind of go nuts with that, a little drunk with power, where they were stronger than the residents and tried to take advantage of it. It can be interesting role-playing. It's not the way I choose to play the game. And then we have an ad for Vortex, a new journal of science fiction and fantasy gamers. For science fiction and fantasy gamers, featuring articles, adventures, and fiction for a wide variety of role-playing games. 1 year for $10. Available quarterly in March at a hobby store near you. This is from Vortex Publishing in Emeryville, California. I don't remember ever seeing any of those. And I was in a hobby stores a lot in the early 80s. Thiamata, 1889 for Space 1889, a game I never really played. And an ad for Vampire, coming in May from White Wolf Publishing, Anniston, Alabama. Cowabunga, it's the beach. Challenges sexiest sentience of summer. So here's your opportunity. These were really hot in the early 90s to do some kind of pin-up book with various characters. Marvel did many of them, did them for about 3 or 4 years. And I never really got it myself, but hey, there you go. And then we have an ad for Silent Death. Join your local starfighters, see the universe, meet interesting people, and slaughter them. Silent Death, the game of fast starfighter combat, is here. I love Silent Death by Iron Crown Enterprises. They're long since defunct, unfortunately. They were out of Charlottesville, Virginia, and watch for Blackguard scenarios for Silent Death. I love Silent Death. That's my buddy Wally sneezing. Wally's got some problems with his sinuses. And continuing on, Thiamata, however you would say that. And then we have, finishing that up, GDW product distribution. GDW was a global company back in the day. And then challenge conventions. These are conventions that can happen in the area in 1991. Let's see if I was at any of these. I don't believe I was. Nope. And then we have, with IHC's Rocco mini tanks, half the battles won. International Hobby Corp out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Don't have any of those. And then we have an adventure for 2300 AD, previously called Traveller 2300. Episode 1, Cat's Feet or Cat's Paw. This is a 4-episode adventure during the last phase of the Kafir Offensive. Interesting. I played a little 2300 back in the day. No real relation to Traveller. They were just trying to capitalize on Traveller's popularity with the name. 2300's an interesting near-future game. Had a different system than Mega Traveller, but interesting. Wrecking Zone for Cyberpunk. Details the history, inhabitants, and buildings of a former chemical plant now turned into a zone of illegal activity. Set in AD 2013. Oh, so 13 years ago. I'm always amazed these older game magazines or the older adventures, and now we're past that time. I've always found that interesting. Finishing up the Cyberpunk adventure, long one. Never played Cyberpunk. Be a good adventure for it if you were playing it. And then we have, for GURPS, this is for Steve Jackson Games. It's Planet World, or Planet Map rather. And GURPS, New Pittsburgh, the colonists call it the Pit. So generic universal role-playing system, GURPS. A planet entry for GURPS Space. GURPS Space is actually a pretty good book. I've got it around here somewhere. I used a lot of it for Traveller over the years. And then we have Abaddon, a unique adventure of horror in a unique setting for Star Trek, the role-playing game. Played a little bit of that. Fully integrated laundry treatment headquarters, a DOA sector adventure setting. And this is Filth, Visitors to Filth. And this is part of the Star Trek. Oh no, it's Paranoia. Okay, that makes more sense. For Paranoia. Paranoia is still around. Published by Mongoose now. Finishing out our adventure there, we have an ad for Paper Mayhem, the informative play-by-mail magazine out of Ottawa, Illinois. Downstate Illinois. Been there a few times. Challenge briefs. This is kind of what's out that might be of interest to readers of Challenge magazine. Torg. Let's see, The Full Moon. It's for Torg and Star Wars miniatures. By Torg. For Torg. Didn't really play that. ICE's April releases include War Law for Rollmaster, Chicago Arcology. Didn't really use much of these. We Are the Future of Play-by-Mail Gaming, the Next Empire from Cyborg Games, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. MasterCard and Visa accepted. How convenient. Dandrian's Ring, Chris Hine for Star Wars. Did play some West End Star Wars back in the day. Good system, I liked it. I still play T20 Star Wars, D20 Star Wars. They haven't, we haven't played that in a while. My players keep bugging me about it, so we're going to play it sometime soon. And then we have Wudge. Wudge system marks the farthest advance of the Terran Overlord government, TOG legions into Shenandoah County, and this is for Renegade Legion. I liked Renegade Legion. There was a lot of fun, a lot of sub-games for it. Pretty neat. And then we have World Generation for Morpheus. Relies heavily on the referee's imagination and creativity. Okay. It's Morpheus. I'm not familiar with that game. Published by Rapport Games. Challenge reviews. I used to look at these all the time just to see if there's anything I wanted to pick up. I got GURPS Aliens based on this. Now we're going to add for Origins 91, the National Gaming Convention, July 4th through the 7th, 1991, Baltimore, Maryland. Air Power, the Journal of Air Combat Gaming. It's a newsletter for serious air gamer with emphasis on GDW's air superiority and air strike. Air Power Publications, LaGrange, Georgia. Enlist now for a new style of adventure. This is from 20th Century Tactical Studies Group, Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Don't know either one of those, I'm afraid. And Challenge Classifieds. Yes, I used to read these every month because there might be something good lurking in here. Subscribe today to 2300 Resource, quarterly journal for 2300 AD Gamer from Resource Publications, Santa Barbara, California. Gulf Crisis, a whole new experience in role-playing. Yes, the Gulf War was right around there. No fantasy, just no magic, just the real world and its real problems. And these guys were available only from collector's item. Headington, Oxford, England. Voyages SF. Can't get enough ideas in your campaign. For your campaign, Voyages SF is a quarterly, highly illustrative magazine. This is Starline's Publications in Mesa, Washington. I have a couple issues of Voyages around here. And then the feedback you could do for what you liked and didn't like about issue 49. And the next issue, We're Promised for Twilight 2000. Solve the mystery of a river suddenly turned dry and water rights. Mega Travelers search for kidnapped Baron and No Time to Rest. Plus Law in the Imperium, the continuation of Behind Blue Eyes, 2300 AD, Space 1889, and more. And then feedback results, the favorite to least favorite issues or articles in the last issue. And then we have an ad for Amazing Stories magazine, coming to hobby and bookstores everywhere in May. And this is from TSR Incorporated, Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. And the back ad, afraid you'll miss the next challenge? Subscribe today. You know, challenge was a challenge to find on the stands a lot of times. And curiously, I never ever subscribed, and I don't know why. But I like challenge. I had one reliable hobby store, Pat's Hobbies in Oak Lawn, Illinois, where I could find it almost every time. But there were some times where you just didn't get it. Challenge was published on a kind of irregular schedule, and it made it a bit of an issue to get your hands on the latest issues sometimes. But I love this magazine, still miss it. For $3.50, it was a lot of goodness, lots of Traveler. But let me know what you think. Did you like Challenge? And if so, what'd you like about it? Please leave comments below. Also, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Tell your friends. Let's keep growing the channel. Take a look at the Patreon, see if you can help me out there. But that's all I've got today on page 121. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.